Hey guys, today we're going to talk about Filipinos and how they got you back. You know, if you're in a good family, one thing I can say is they usually have your back. And there's usually a couple of people in your family that you don't like or whatever, or don't have your back. But the majority of people, they've got your back. It's one thing I found out about my family, My girlfriend's got a few family members I don't trust, and she doesn't trust either, and wouldn't even allow them around the house anymore, just because they're just bad news or whatever. I just told her I don't want them around the house, and she kind of agrees with me, But let me just say this. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, somewhat. I'm going to get into more detail about it. When I got sick, when I had the kidney stones, I thought I was going to die. It felt like I was having a baby. I thought my kidneys were going to explode. I didn't know what to think. I was retaining a lot of urine at the time, and it was getting harder for me to pass because the kidney stones were jamming me up, and I was just in extreme pain. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to think about going to the doctors that day. I was home, and the pain got so bad I was screaming in the bedroom. And my daughter got up and says, "Dad, do you want to go to the hospital right now?" I'm like, "Yes, I want to go to the hospital right now." I was actually in tears. That's how bad the pain was. And I had taken a ton of tramadol to try to kill the pain, which I usually take from my sciatica, and it wasn't even putting a dent in the pain at all. And I took acetaminophen and some stuff like that, and it just wasn't working. So I got rushed to the hospital, and some of you guys have heard this story a little bit before. They started treating me like a COVID patient and put me on a COVID ward. But that's not the point of the story. I just want to tell this part of the story. Is when it came time for me to get a ride, okay? My girlfriend went out to try to get a ride, and the guards next door from the mayor volunteered to take me to the hospital. And that was like the nicest thing in the world for those people to do that for me, because I was so thankful for those people doing that for me, because I got to the hospital quickly, safe, and I could see that the people actually cared for me. They were worried about me on the ride there. My girlfriend was worried about me. She was being a little bit mean to the doctor that day because for whatever reason, I think it had to do with the way they treated me when I went in there or whatever. She was kind of pissed off. And the doctor was kind of cold towards me in the beginning. And I was wondering why he was being cold towards me, because I wasn't being cold towards him. But it was my girlfriend out in the waiting room giving him a hard time, because she was worried about me inside. But, eventually he let me out once he treated me. They were planning on keeping me there for 14 days, saying I had COVID and stuff, as most of you guys know. But we got through that aspect of it, and they finally decided I didn't have COVID. But, when I was in there, I felt cared for, not just by my girlfriend, but by everybody back home, because everybody took care of me when I was sick. And I was like, wow. I remember at home, I went to the hospital for a heart attack, and my sister lived up in Maine, so I didn't expect her to come down. But other people around me, when I called them to tell them I had had a heart attack, they didn't care. Even my wife at the time, she just came in real quick and just left, and I felt kind of like abandoned at the hospital, and I was like, wow, this is my life here, you know what I mean? And at the time, I had already started thinking about moving on at some point. I was trying to make a decision on what to do, and eventually my now ex-wife made that decision on her own, I didn't want to do that, but I was kind of coming to the conclusion that she had some big issues. I don't know what the issues were, but I think she had some huge issues, and I didn't know how to get through her issues, and I don't think she knew how to get through them either, but it is what it is. I forgave all that stuff a long time ago. But anyway, I didn't forget the way I was treated, by people that didn't come to the hospital to visit me. You know what I mean? I didn't expect my friends to step into that place because, it wasn't their place. Your family should. But, I just want to be treated right. I think all of us as humans and as men, we want to be treated right by our families. Just be treated like we are family, because for a lot of us expats, we've kind of had been spit on in the past, and we've talked about all those issues in the past, and some of us haven't been. Some of us just come over here because of the money thing. It's cheaper over here. Some of us come over here because it's just a really damn good place to retire, and it's cheap, and it's kind of a sexy James Bond type place to retire in some places in the Philippines. You know, you got the nice beaches, the palm trees and stuff like that, although you might not have the beautiful homes, but some places you do. But you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the Philippines has that reputation, you know what I mean? You can come here, you can find a girlfriend, a really nice girlfriend that'll take care of you, you know, and it just has that nice reputation, and it has family values. I think that's what attracts a lot of the older expats, is the family values part plus the girlfriend part. Some guys aren't looking for family. Some are. I'm kind of glad that my girlfriend has her daughter and my little boy, you know. I'm really glad about that, because it kind of keeps me happy, you know, and I know my little boy loves me. He says, you know, he loves me all the time. He comes up and gives me a hug, and he can be like I told you guys in the past, he can be a little dickhead sometimes, you know, but for the most part, he's pretty good. He's good with me. And I love the kid to death. But it's part of what the Philippines is, guys. You know, it really, really is. You know, Philippines is friendliest place in the world, best place in the world, you know, and family is the biggest aspect of that. You know, we touch base on this because if you guys ever think about not coming here, think about that for a second, because that's something you might not get up in Thailand or places like that. I've heard stories that the people up there have a different culture up there. It's not as cohesive. In some ways it is, in some ways it's not. But when it's a Westerner, it's usually not. In some ways it's like that in the Philippines too. Some people say that you know, I was married to a Filipina before, and you know, I think she just loved Westerners for money and wealth, because that's what she was looking for when she left me, you know what I mean? And then she left another guy, and you know, so I mean, it's part of the culture here to a certain extent. But you know something? You got to look around and find the right woman. And a lot of the guys over here have gotten married, and they've married people, and I've said this many times about the girls that might not be a 10, but might be like a 6 or a 7, you know, and they're still beautiful women, or even a 5 or whatever. And I hate to grade women because it's kind of demeaning, but I mean, you guys get the gist of what I'm saying. They might not be perfect, but you want to know something? They make it up in other ways. You know, they make it up in that they love you. They make it up because they come from a great family. They make it up because maybe they work, they have a job, and plus they're halfway decent looking, and they look out for your needs too, you know, and that's huge, you know, because marriage is 50-50, or usually it's supposed to be anyway. And a lot of guys, when they come over here, think, well, I got one up on these women because I got money, okay? And I have more than what she has, so she should be giving me more. And don't look at it that way, guys. Don't ever try to do well, it's a 70-30 marriage or something like that, or 80-20 marriage. Don't, just keep on giving, and, you know, unless you see that it's so one-sided, it's ridiculous, and she just keeps hitting you up for money constantly, or for her family or whatever, then be careful. But you get what I'm saying. I'm saying if she's giving you a lot of love, and she's taking care of you and taking care of the house and stuff like that, she might be the one who's giving the 70%. You might be giving a lot of money in the relationship, but money isn't everything. It's really not. You know, guys value money way more than they do the things that their girlfriend or wife does for them sometimes. Don't put money up on that pedestal. Don't. Money's great. It's nice to have, you know. It's great to save. It's great to use it to help our families, help them in medical needs, things like that, but it's not everything. You know, weigh out your relationships different. Put your values in different places. Your value is not in the bank. your values in your heart and your family. We have to kind of remember that, you know? Remember what I said, 70-30, 20-80. In the end, it doesn't matter, because you know what? There's probably some things that your girlfriend's given you that you probably couldn't get somewhere else. And that might be love, might be giving you a sense of value. It might be that she gave you a family that you never had before, or a decent family you never had before. Those are big pluses, you know? And in my book, one thing I can honestly say about my girlfriend, she gave me everything I ever wanted, you know, in a lot of ways. My girlfriend's not perfect, but you know what? She's given me peace. She's given me family. She's given me love. She has my back. I know I'm protected by her to a certain extent. I would protect her. And yeah, do I give her money? Yes, absolutely I do. But do I weigh everything in dollars and cents? Hell no, I don't. I think sometimes my girlfriend gives me way more than what I give her. You know what I mean? And I mean that in love and in family. I mean, I look at my girlfriend's aunt who comes over the house sometimes, and we go to visit her. We kind of help her out too, you know, and I value these relationships because it's almost like she's my aunt, you know, like she's a family member with me, you know, and I look at her cousins and stuff like that who come over to the house and they say hi and stuff like that. I value those relationships, you know, because it gives me a sense of peace all the time, you know, and I think if I didn't have those, I wouldn't feel comfortable here, and I wouldn't feel like staying here. If it wasn't for having good relationships, I don't think I'd ever want to stay in the Philippines. I would feel alone. Are there days I feel alone and I miss, you know, some of my family? I mean, I don't have much family home. I have my sister and some cousins and a few other people, you know, because a lot of the people back home, the relationships have broken. And they're probably not going to ever get healed, you know, and it's unfortunate that it's like that, but that's the way some people are, you know what I mean? And, you know, I've reached my hand out only to get bitten, and I stopped reaching my hand out because of that, you know? Do I wish that those things could have been mended? Hell yeah, I do, you know, but I don't focus on them. You know, I just don't focus on that anymore because it's not worth focusing on. And as I get further away from those times, you just kind of forget, you know, and I'm not sure if they forget. Probably they do, you know, but, you know, sometimes it's time to move on. You hope that someday they'll get healed maybe, or sometimes you don't, you know, and I leave those doors open, but I usually don't have much hopes when people start talking to me, you know, but over here, I don't worry about that anymore. You know, I don't let that stuff bother me. I don't stay focused on it. Don't you guys stay focused on it either. Anyway, guys, remember what I said. Family's family. Don't think of your money as being everything. A lot of guys over here think, well, I'm wealthy, so I have everything. I'm the main supplier. You know, that girl's giving you love. Love is a lot. You know, it is a lot. You know, I mean, there are marriages of, you know, convenience too. I fully get that. There are. You know, would I say most marriages over here are marriages of convenience? No, I think most of the people over here, as long as they stay in the Philippines, are good, decent people, loving people. I think when you get them to the United States, it's the culture that eats them up. It's the culture that changes them, you know. But anyway, guys, I'm going to throw that out there. I thought it'd be a great subject, you know. And if you guys want to leave your comments down below about your relationships or whatever, or relationships that you've gone through, or your thoughts on this video, you know, leave your thoughts in there about what you think. You know, what do you think are the great things that attract people to the Philippines? You know, don't put the negative ones, put the positive ones. You know, let's hear your thoughts on that, guys. God bless. Take care. And I love you guys all the time. You know, let's look out for each other, guys, all the time. You know, it's the way people should be. Put all this political strife in the back. I know some of you guys, when we talk on the phone or something, we talked politics and stuff like that, but no matter which side of the fence you're on, I still love everybody, in the end. We should all be like that. God bless, guys. Take care.